I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Starting a little late tonight. I got no sleep last night, and I took more sleeping pills than I realized, so my body just didn't want to wake up. I am sorry. I had to finish setting things up because I usually just transfer things from my one computer to the other with Facebook, but for whatever reason, Facebook locked me out of my account on here. It's a thing. So, anywho, that doesn't matter. We are getting into it. So, all of that stuff aside, we're tournamenting monsters tonight for spooky July. And I can't imagine this is going to take very long. We'll see. I didn't want to make it a whole, big production quantifying exact number stats. We're just kind of have fun and play fast and loose with it. So we'll see. We're going to go matchup by matchup instead of just showing you the entire roster, which I feel like is going to be a better option. A lot of these are meant to be revealed. Some of them are funnier than others, is what I mean. As well as, if you're familiar at all with a tournament structure, 16. We've got 14, so 2 of the higher seeded monsters have a bye week. Those, and we'll get to those. Mountain Horse, good morning. I appreciate you. So, let's see, if I set this up correctly, it should be as easy as... Boop! Hey! Okay. So Jason is one of our seeded dudes. He gets to skip the first round, so he moves on. Okay. Get that out of the way. Moonstone, you as well, good morning. So on to our first actual matchup. We have Pyramid Head, monster from, monster from Silent Hill 2, as well as the Silent Hill movie. Hi Max, good morning, you as well, thank you for stopping by. I'm okay, I'm sleepy, but I'm waking up and I'm going to be okay, hopefully. Fun fact about Pyramid Head. He's named that because the head thing. That's why. And, okay, so the way I did these, I picked out a bunch of monsters. Real quick rules. There's nothing complicated. Picked out a bunch of monsters. I wanted them to at least be in the vicinity of as strong as each other. I wasn't going to sweat being, perfectly balanced. But, typically just a horror monster. Most of them are from movies. We got 2 from video games. Pyramid Head's one of those. And I picked out a representative from the SPC Foundation. SCP Foundation, rather. If you're familiar at all with that. And the only other stipulation for these monsters is they have to be able to be killed by enough blunt force, really, physical trauma. They might be able to withstand a lot of it, but you have to say, yeah, if we throw enough cars at this guy, would they die? Because some of our people are just really dumb and they're just kind of kill stuff. And it wouldn't be fair putting Jason against the Babadook, because the Babadook can't be killed that way. So no Babadook, and that kind of made me sad, but as the big, good morning. Appreciate you. With the preamble out of the way, I'm gonna reveal who. I rolled some dice. I picked out the roster, randomly assigned these guys to brackets just by rolling dice. I did not do these matchups. So that being said, Pyramid Head up against Bruce from Jaws. Now, if I were a betting man, so Who all here thinks Pyramid Head knows how to swim? First and foremost, show of hands. Who can picture Pyramid Head swimming? Who thinks he's physically capable? Because I don't. Have you seen him walk? He's not good at it. So, that's the thing. Okay, so yeah, Mountain Horse, you bring up the point I was going to get at. Intelligence, while I was going to say brute force should be all it takes to kill any of these dudes matters, you still have to factor in, intelligence. Would Pyramid Head be smart enough just to, stand on a pier and, stab at him? He might be. He's But that being said, if he was close enough to the water, because Jaws can't get, up on, the shoreline. He's really big. You'd have to be on a pier or something, or on a boat, to be close enough to stab him. And in that case, Jaws would destroy the platform, right? So, boats versus pier, Pyramid Head would have the biggest chance of doing this on a pier, and I still think Jaws could, right? Because I gotta think he'd be smart enough to stay up on, yeah, that's really the deciding factor here, right? Where the fight takes place. Let's be honest, but. And let's be fair, if Pyramid Head got dunked in the water, the fight would just instantly be over. Well, okay, no, hold on. I do know a little bit about Pyramid Head from the game. It doesn't happen in the movie. He walks underwater at one point, but it's submerged metal versus the silt and mud it would be. So he can walk underwater, but I'd have to think he wouldn't be able to do much, right? Strong though you may be, imagine trying to swing that sword underwater. That's not happening, right? Bruce wins. Ellie's yelling at me. Hey, sweetie. Bruce wins. Alright, Pyramid Head, get out of here. There we go. Alright, so now that everyone's in agreement, I'm sure you're all going to agree with everything I say. Let's continue. Okay, so here's an actual match. I promise they're not going to, because I recognize how funny it is putting Bruce in here. He's a horror monster, but so not all of these are going to be like that, I promise. So we have, who is it? Ooh. Leatherface. The deranged chainsaw dude from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's right there in the name, so you know he's good. Really? There we go. Leatherface. Alright. Versus Pennywise. The clown from It. I went with the newer one because as much as I love Tim Curry, ooh, look at those teeth. So, I don't think you guys have been holding back, but I genuinely welcome any comments and thoughts and opinions and disagreements that you might have. This is meant to be a conversation, because otherwise I would just be like, this one wins, that one wins, that one wins, goodbye. So I want to see what you guys think. Yeah, see, besides, he's a little more metaphysical, just minor reality warping, which is pretty significant if we're being honest, versus Man with Chainsaw. And I don't care how unwell Man with Chainsaw is, it's a reality warping clown. But in lore, Pennywise, he feeds on fear. Fear makes him strong. I do not think Leatherface could be scared of him, is my stance on that. And I haven't seen the It miniseries, like the old one, in a long time. But I gotta think, like, even like a group of children, they didn't permanently kill him. They defeated him. And that, like, okay, I forgot to mention, as horror monsters, it's just in their nature to come back after they die. They just keep coming back. So a lot of these dudes are very, like, next to impossible to put down permanently. We are, if they're not able to fight anymore, if they are completely incapacitated, credits are rolling and they don't come back until the next movie, it's over. So while the kids in the It miniseries didn't permanently kill it, a group of children did it because they weren't afraid of him anymore. So that's, like, really conflicting. A group of children did it with stuff they had on hand just because they weren't scared of him. So, like, that's the lowest point in his strength. The highest point is he bends space and time. Like, that's so conflicting. Yeah, and, like, if it wouldn't take much for, like one good hit, it's a chainsaw. Oh god. So my lords, I'm not sure who you're talking about, so I'm gonna assume both, probably. Seems like something they would do. So yeah, from what I know about Leatherface, he's so unwell and so unhinged. I would have to think he would just, like, run at Pennywise with a chainsaw, at which point Pennywise would just be forced to retreat. And that's not how this works. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say this is kind of an upset because when I was adding dudes to this list, Leatherface is an underdog. He's just a regular dude with mental health issues and a chainsaw. And against some of these dudes, yeah, like, but with some of these monsters, you'll have one that's quantifiably better than the other, but the weaker one has this specific exact advantage they need. And in this case, it's mental health issues. Oh, man. Excuse you, MX. I like to think Leatherface has a nice personality, and, might not be your cup of tea, but, I'm sure somebody out there is something. Okay. Ooh, this is a fun one. We have zombies, specifically. We had to figure out an exact number because one zombie wouldn't do it, so we're like, how many zombies would be a fair amount of zombies? So we ended up at 50 zombies, right? Does that seem fair? 50 of them. Versus a xenomorph. Hold on, I lost my picture. Where'd you go? There you are. Zombies versus a xenomorph. One xenomorph, 50 zombies. So my number one thought is, could a zombie bite through the shell of a xenomorph? Because that would decide the entire thing, wouldn't it? Because what else is a zombie gonna do? Could a zombie bite through a xenomorph? What do you guys think? Because that is what it would come down to. If the answer is no, then it's just a very simple, straightforward thing. Right? Yeah, I don't think they could. Xenomorphs are beefy. Even if they could, their blood is acid, so, like, even if the zombies could, they would still lose several just due to attacking. And then whatever the xenomorph kills. Yeah. I'm trying to be, like, come up with counter arguments to make sure you guys see both sides of the situation, look at both sides. I think that's pretty straightforward, yeah. My only thinking is, Shiny made a good point when we were discussing the, right, that's why we're not saying to the death, we're saying until incapacitated. So if the zombie were no longer able to move, that would be it. So Shiny made a good point when we were discussing the amounts for this. They don't necessarily have to bite into it, because they could. If you bite into Leatherface, it would only take one. But assuming they couldn't bite into it, like we're talking about Jason, things without blood flow, for example. If 50 zombies climbed on you, you may just die from being crushed, like the weight of 50 people. And I hadn't thought about that. That's actually reasonable. But I've got to think Xenomorph is nimble enough to get around that. So I still think Xenomorph, but I wanted to mention that would also, that could be an option, though. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just the weight of 50 people, because Xenomorphs aren't invincible. They're strong, right? But Ripley killed several of them, and she's just a human woman. And she had construction equipment, but human woman with construction equipment killed several. So yeah, I just Xenomorphs be good at killing stuff. Yeah, all right, Xenomorph. Whip. Bye, zombies. I wasn't. I'm sure I was going. There's something I was going to say, but I'm sure it wasn't important. Okay. So we get down to our second seeded. Two of our combatants have a bye week, meaning if you divide the tournament perfectly, there's 16. We have 14, so two of them needed bye weeks, which means that they're predicted to do so well, like the top two predicted. They get to skip the first round. That's how that works. It's a sports thing.
If you can't compete, you can't eat. And eat rhymes with sweet. And I'm gorgeous over here, boy. We honeybees over here.
We honeybees over here. Thank you, MX. I appreciate that. Good guy. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, it's a sports thing. I was at least familiar enough with that. Just because I've seen so many tournaments in anime, I recognize that as a thing. Anywho. So I didn't even tell you who it was. Oh, my bad. Hellpriest. Also known as Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies. He is a Cenobite. He's the leader of the Cenobites, which are sort of demons, angels. He says he's a demon and an angel. He's a demon. Him, which is just lovely. So he moved on. He was on. Why is he wearing a skin suit? He is not actually. He is. That's his skin. He just got a lot of white face paint on and needles sticking out of his face. That's his skin. Alright, so, oh god, this is, ooh, love this one. Got Chucky. Straightforward. Chucky. You guys know who Chucky is. Don't make assumptions, you might not. That's Chucky. Child's Play. He's a possessed doll. A serial killer who knows magic. Got shot in a toy factory, and with his dying breath, he transported his soul into a doll, because that's not ridiculous at all. You know who is your interest still? No, I don't understand what you mean by no. Like, no, he loses? Chuck E. Cheese, yes, Chuck E. Cheese Death. That is the name. I agree. He has magic. He just doesn't use it very often because budget. It's not ever. I don't think they ever go over how much magic he knows, but he knows some magic because In one of the movies, you find out that one of his former accomplices is like this voodoo shaman, and apparently he picked up some stuff from him. So like offensively, I don't know if he knows any like spells to use in regards to kill people. Like typically he will just stab dudes, but at least a little bit of magic. He's a level 1 sorcerer. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, if it helps, I'm pretty confident he's going to lose because I've been stalling for a reason. Okay. So this one you guys probably don't know. I needed a representative from the SCP Foundation in case you guys are familiar with them. It's this website where they do these sort of, fan fiction really. People go on there and they type up these official sounding documents from this fictional SCP Foundation. And we all treat it as like a real thing, like it's a secret organization and they contain supernatural threats. Like the boogeyman. You'll look at it and it's typed up like an actual document. Like these are the containment procedures. This is all of our documentation about it. Here's records. Here's tests and experiments and stuff. And people take it seriously, and I respect that. But there's like 7,000 of them at this point. I wanted a good representative. And all of the main ones. Oh, I'm going to upload the picture. And there's no official artwork, so I had to go with fan art, so I apologize. SCP-999. Probably. Well, it would be a draw, wouldn't you think? So we're just going to sync that in. SCP-3166. I needed a representative. Sorry about that. So, of all of the... Oh, yeah, I agree. Of all of the popular ones, 173, 682, 096, they are more or less unkillable. Like, they're just right there in the file. Like, yeah, we would like to kill these things. We can't. And they've got, like, anti-aircraft machine guns and acid and flamethrowers and stuff. You just... If they can't kill something, take it to heart. So the really famous ones cannot be killed. It wouldn't be fair. They would win this thing automatically. It's funny because 682, they actually said they flat out refused to try a nuke on it because the thing about 682 is not only is it impossible to kill, if you use something on it, it can adapt it and learn to use it itself, which would, a nuke or a black hole, that would probably destroy the Earth if it could do that. So that's not good. In both 173 and 096, 682 couldn't kill them, so like they're all up there. This is 3166. Brief description. It is the rough equivalent of a really disturbingly jank-made 6 or so foot Garfield the Cat cosplay suit. It's just a disturbing 6 foot tall Garfield man. And the fur made out of it, it's actually like they took samples. Apparently it's actual cat fur, which is weird. And the other fun thing about the 3166, its insides are lasagna. It's all the way down, all lasagna, all the way down. Its core. You breach that fursuit, lasagna. So this thing is genuinely horrifying. It only appears to people who are, anytime the Garfield the Cat comic franchise starts not doing well, this thing just appears and kills people who it thinks is responsible for that. But for our purposes, our combatants are just keen on killing each other. So this thing has a beef with Chucky. Chucky stabbed the Garfield creator guy. I don't know. So, like, the thing about 3166 is its insides are entirely lasagna. So, it's immune to blunt force trauma. You could drop a car on it, it wouldn't do anything. It would just mush up the lasagna, which is concerning. And it kills things two ways. It picks up blood objects like rocks or TVs or baseball bats and just smashes you over the head with them. Its other method of killing is it will rip itself open, you see in the picture, pull out lasagna and force feed you until you die. That is genuinely horrifying. But it leads to a really good point. It disembowels itself. What could Chucky do to that's worse than what it's doing to itself? Like, it's already ripping itself open and pulling its insides out. If Chucky did stab this thing, he would just be helping it along. He would be speeding up the process, right? Right? So Chucky doesn't eat, so he couldn't force feed this thing, or at the very least he would just be jamming food inside this doll, which wouldn't kill Chucky. But I've got to say, the baseball bat or TV or big hunk and rock would, wouldn't it? Yeah, like the rock would do it. Like if it was an exclusively a lasagna thing, then yeah, but... And both seem to be able to, because like in horror movies you just kind of accept that the slasher has minor teleporting powers. It's just the nature of them. And you don't know if it's like supernatural or if they're just like really stealthy. Like Chucky, you don't know if he's actually teleporting around, if he's just really sneaky and small. Even if he could, we know that 3166 can actually teleport. It can. It will disappear in front of you and reappear behind you, because that's reassuring. So, Chucky can't do anything to this dude. He would just bonk him with a rock. God, that's scary. Let's get him off screen. Ooh! So, Moonstone, I'm hoping I was able to provide something to get your mind off Chucky. That's something to direct your terror towards. Yeah, the Cheshire Cat. Oh, who in Kingdom Hearts, they actually canonically, well, if you call Kingdom Hearts canonical, they describe the Cheshire Cat as neither good nor evil. Apparently, it's a neutral creature, which is interesting to me. Which makes sense, actually. What do we got? Oh! Hey guys, I got another one you probably know. I promise most of these are well-known dudes. I just, the SCP Foundation is like a popular thing online, and I needed a representative. And I like cats. Yeah, it actually did not, as far as I know. In fact, yeah, I actually didn't. I looked it up before the thing. My brain's fuzzy. It hadn't captured it because it can just dematerialize. The containment procedure for 3166 is just, we need to allocate a certain part of our budget to make sure Garfield never starts doing badly. And they add mind controlling properties to the comics to make sure that the fan base stays fans, which is funny to me. Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise movie. I'm not a fan. He's just like, I think he even came, like, I believe he came out before Jason, but I've always just considered him a knockoff Jason, right? Because he's strong and he just chases after you. But Jason's scarier. Anyway, he is going up against, hold on, move him out of the way first. I'm trying to learn my lesson from doing this. Michael Myers, hey buddy. The Truck from Maximum Overdrive, the Stephen King movie. It's a movie based on a book where one day all of the vehicles in the world come to life. So I'm like, originally it was going to be Christine the Haunted Car, but I'm like, let's be fair, most of these dudes could take out a car. And I'm like, well, if we're talking about haunted vehicles, this is the leader of the haunted vehicles in that movie, even though like all of them on the planet or whatever. It's just a scary semi. It is just an entire haunted semi. so yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Is there any precedent to Michael Myers getting hit by a vehicle? Has anyone tried? Has anyone pulled that off? Because I gotta think he'd get back up, right? Like, because isn't that his thing? He's just really hard to kill. Optimus Prime's just evil little brother. Like, I gotta think, like, yeah, he's just hard to kill, right? So I gotta think. But like an entire semi. At what point do your bones just become dust? Good night. So, right, that's another good question. Or at the very least, what would be the minimal you would have to do to incapacitate the thing? Because I would think wheels. Michael Myers, as far as I know, does he I don't think he has like like a signature weapon, does he? I'm sure he's used them. So then we get down to questions of intelligence. Would he target the wheels? Would he think of something to use to destroy them? So like a lot of this is just hypothetical. Would Michael think of or be able to do blank? Okay, so like that's the thing though. Because it's established these vehicles don't need to rest. So assuming it never stopped, he wouldn't be able to get under the hood. So with like no cutting the brakes, no messing with the engine. Which, I mean, yeah, like, because it really just depends on the intelligence of Michael, right? A smart enough villain could probably trap this thing where it couldn't get out of its little box, and then he just climbs underneath and starts pulling wires, right? So like, but isn't canonically Michael like a teenager who got locked up for killing his family, then he broke out, so he has like the education of a disturbed teenager? We just showed up in the middle of the road in front of the thing. I mean, and besides like what would you say? Hold on. Disable the semi, get it stuck, or make it turn so fast it capsizes. See, that's the thing. It's a vehicle. I'm sure it's aware of its limitations, right? I'm not saying it's outside the realm of possibility. And you might be able to flip it because, yeah, semis are famously top heavy. If you're using a semi as a weapon versus just transferring stuff, you're not moving in straight lines. You're moving haphazardly, and being top heavy like you are, it would be possible, and that would be the killing blow. Like, the thing about the semi is it packs such a powerful wallop, but it's also weirdly frail. Like, there are several things you can do to it that would just immediately end the fight. So, like, while I'm sure it's aware of its limitations, like, even putting oil down could do it. Like, you know what I mean? Make it slip. They're not geniuses, it's just a truck that came alive. I'm trying to remember back on the Maximum Overdrive movie if they got scared. I know to some extent they can have feelings, so possibly. Something has to be controlling it, and that's actually a really good point. Also, MX, Gunshop, those are two really good points. Canonically, there was just a meteor passing by Earth because Stephen King is just an absolute madman. A special meteor went by Earth, and then all of a sudden, all of the machines came to life. That's how it happened. And the bulk of the story takes place with all of the main characters in a gas station with these trucks circling it, waiting them out. Like, they're nothing if not patient. But I gotta think they understand, like, they understand feelings if nothing else, because they were absolutely using fear to control these people. So it's like, so again, I think it does come down to what is Michael capable of? Like, what would he consider to do? How smart is he? Because in a battle of physical strength, it's very obvious who would win. Like, it's a semi. But I gotta think Michael's smarter than that. He's smart enough. His whole thing is like skulking around, so he has some level of intelligence. I'm not as certain about this because I don't know as much about him, but I know enough where it's like I know their abilities, general information, basic history. Could you imagine Michael Myers throwing a Molotov cocktail? Could you visualize that? I couldn't. I could see him slashing the tires though, couldn't you? And the truck's not a super genius yet. You know what, Michael? Smart enough to know that sharp things puncture tires. I have to believe he could either hide or sidestep this thing and just stab a tire. Like that, it's a difficult one because, like I said, it would just come down to one hit. Like, could this truck land a hit on him before he slashed the tires? Yes or no? And that's hard to get. Like, you can't just guess that, you know. Which is why I flew Michael Myers out to the studio. We're gonna get this done. I bought a semi. I'm gonna drive it at him. It's funny, this thing, because it's like the whole movie didn't make sense. If you're in the mood for a really dumb but fun horror movie, watch Maximum Overdrive. My God, it's funny. It is hilarious. You get a man getting killed by a vending machine that just spits out soda cans at him really hard. It's a wild movie. Honestly, a lot of the money I get from Twitch, I just turn around and I put into stuff. Oops, yeah. Oh, God. All right, let's get back into it. I appreciate you guys. All right, so Michael Myers beats the truck. I gotta say, like, I didn't go into this really hard before because I wanted this to be like me thinking through the process with you guys. If you would have just, like, off the top of my head told me to pick one immediately, I would have picked the truck because, I mean, yeah, truck. Okay. So okay, and the first one you might know. The Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Minor horror series. I think they made a third one. There's at least two. I know there's two. I think they made a third one. And our second horror dude. I make a joke if you want. Our second video game character, because I said there was two. I wanted to be a fair assembly of dudes. William Birkin, who you may know from Resident Evil 2. See, this one's a little more... Creeper for Minecraft. Does that count as a horror character? Can you call that a horror character? I know. I have heard people scream when it shows up. You know, MX, I gotta say, I appreciate it. I'm not sure I enjoy where your train of thought's going. So we're just gonna do monster stuff. So I'm not sure if everyone here is familiar with Jeepers Creepers. It's a little less straightforward because, like, for the bulk of the movie, he's like, you don't really see him. It's just he steals body parts and he's fast and strong. And at least in the second one, he can fly. Like, he's got bat wings, which, yeah, he takes organs and apparently has wings. He took wings from somebody, I guess. I don't know. But that's the thing. So, like, his physical attributes are even harder to nail down than the rest of them. Like, more popular characters have more feats you can look at for reference. This guy isn't around as much, you know what I mean? It's good to see him coming because of the eyeball. So, from the eye shoulder, yes. I'm assuming the matchup is because, canonically, his name's the Creeper. People call him Jeepers Creepers. His name's the Creeper. Well, I'm sure his parents didn't name him that, but that's what his name is in the wiki. I'm sure he laid his eyes on that eye, and he just knew. He was like, "Oh man, I know what I'm doing today." But switching gears, William, Resident Evil 2. He was a scientist working on the was it the T virus? G virus. One of them. One of the Resident Evil viruses. It's a weird series. And he got exposed to it, and it did that to him. And the thing about William is like physical strength. You see those fingies he's wiggling around. Let me tell you, he could spirit fingers you to death. Oh man, catch him doing jazz hands sometimes. There weren't any survivors. But even more than that, he's famously hard to kill. Like, he just rocket launchers and vehicles. He's just very, very, very hard to stop. So, just move the picture. Yeah, I don't have a good way of doing that because either the pictures are going to be too small to see, or like I don't know how I was going to do that because like William. There we go. There we are. I guess that works. No reason not to. He like, they're not as impressive as the top half, but I mean, he didn't skip leg day at the very least. So, like, feats of strength, if you're all familiar with Jeepers Creepers 2, he, like, just plucks a teenage jock's head off of his body. And I say teenage like I'm condescending, like it's a child. He'd be probably stronger than I am. Like I said, a high school football player could probably whoop me. So, yeah, let's just assume that's the case. In fact, yeah, that's the case. So, if we're talking damage output, though, that is like paltry in comparison to like rocket launchers and vehicles. What I'm trying to get at is I don't know if the Creeper has any option for offense that could kill William, like, if he wanted to. Like, assume the Creeper lands every hit. Would that be enough? I don't think it would. And at that point, it's very straightforward, isn't it? Because the other deciding factor in this situation would be flight. The Creeper can fly, which, don't get me wrong, is a massive boon. Hi, Ellie. Hi. Why are you yelling at me? Alright. I know. Hi. Alright, so yeah, Creeper can fly. But there isn't a runaway option in this fight. It is, they both want each other dead. And besides, like, running in with no...
Honey, I'm home!
Yeah, you are. Good morning. It's like, what's wrong with you? Hi. What? Are you hungry? Is that why? Alright, get down. When you yell at me, it feels like you don't respect me. Alright. I give them their dinner after stream, so they usually bug me in the middle of the stream about it. Alright. So, that's the thing, like I just said though, if landing every hit, I don't think the Creeper could pull it off. And with flight, it might make it very difficult for William to hit him, but if the Creeper can't land a deciding blow, eventually William would. Like, he might miss a lot, but eventually he would just have to tag him and that would be it, right? Yeah. He just got out muscled. It was just an instance of very straightforward because weirdly their powers are the same. Just William's more durable and the Creeper can fly. Yeah, and like they're both very good for that too. Like that one I don't actually know. Like Creeper is this cicada type creature that comes around every decade or so, or however many years it is. And yeah, I don't. And William's just an undead monster, so like, I don't think stamina matters for him either. Like, I'm pretty sure for William it's the same thing as like zombie. So like he can carry on indefinitely, but as you use your muscles and they break down, for him they wouldn't regenerate. But that being said, Creeper would have to like continue this fight for like days for that to happen because William big, he beefy, he's built to last. He's built Ford tough. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. Flying takes more energy than standing. That is true also. I don't know what that limit is though, come to think of it. Like, I don't know that well. Like, benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, so, like, because right now we're falling on the option that William wins. So let's give Creeper benefit of the doubt and say the fight will last as long as it needs to. He's not going to just, like, pass out. So even in that instance, William still wins, right? Like, that doesn't change anything, right? Just like, give him the handicap. If we can give the Creeper the handicap and he still loses, I think that's definitive, isn't it? Is what I think. And winged flight, you can't, like, fly in place with winged flight like that. The Creeper isn't a hummingbird. It wouldn't be as easy as just floating in the air above William. He would be expending a lot of energy to be going around and swooping, and it would just be an ordeal. And like I said, like, I'm not sure how many hits it would take for William to have to do that, but he's substantially stronger than the Creeper. I think, honestly, William's biggest boon is that he's just horrifyingly durable. Anyway, yes, we continue. That's actually the end for the first round. So now we move on. Jason, who got a bye week. And this is funny. When I said I picked these randomly, I hadn't expected this tech to come up, but here we are. So that's funny. Jason, click, click, click. Where are you? Hey, buddy. Oh, well, past you. Time to go back around. Okay, well. Jason. I really should have put them all on top of each other like this. My God, I passed him again. Ah! There. Stay. Went through all that effort and he's still going to lose. Like, that's unfortunate. Because, like, that's Jason's one canonical weakness, right? Like, right? Like, it's the exact same situation it was before with Pyramid Head, right? But Jason's dumber. Stronger, don't get me wrong, but strength wasn't Pyramid Head's weakness. Well, is he stronger? I don't know, actually, that's a good question. They're not fighting. It's still the same matchup, more or less. Except instead of, like, Pyramid Head could still function underwater. He would lose because Bruce has the advantage. Jason's is weak to water. Like, it's the same matchup. And he's probably stronger, probably a better fighter, but, like, in movies they've dunked him in lakes and that's how they beat him. Right. So as silly as this may be, as badly as I feel about this, because Jason was like top seed to win this Mamma Jamma. And I love him so much. Jason's my homie. I watched so many Friday the 13th movies as a child, and that probably explains most of this. But, like, name a reason why Jason would win. I dare you. Come up with one. Right? Like, I'm so upset about this, but there we go. Bruce wins. I don't know if I mentioned this yet. Okay. Did I? I don't know if I did. The winner of this tournament is actually going to go head to head with our reigning monster champion. So that's going to be fun to watch. Talk about. Didn't put a single hot person. Do I need to bring Leatherface back up? Hold on. There we go. Leatherface. Who else do we got? Sir, hold on. I can call you a liar right now. Look at that truck. Look at the jawline on that truck. I bet you're embarrassed right now. Michael Myers, we don't get to see his face, but, like, he's wearing a Captain Kirk mask, and Captain Kirk is a looker. Alright, anywho. My ridiculousness aside, Bruce wins. Not a furry. Sir, a truck does not count as a furry. Like, the only furry here is 3166, and I'm not about to bring that picture back up until I absolutely have to, because I don't want to. All right, so winners of last round. Ooh, Leatherface. There's probably a better way I could have done this whole thing, but here we are. And Xenomorph. So that's interesting, because we were talking about last time a Xenomorph being able to, or zombies being able to breach the shell of the Xenomorph. This guy's got a chainsaw. And, like, we've established that Ripley killed several of them with mining equipment. So, like, yeah, right? His thing is he has a chainsaw and he's good with it. I gotta think, right? Like, the Xenomorphs are pretty big, yeah. They're definitive, like, enough to look down at a person. Like, horse size, I think, is about fair. Yeah, horse size, about. But, like, that's the thing. Because Xenomorphs are good at skulking. They're very nimble. And Leatherface is just a man. So it could end very quickly if the Xenomorph gets its claws on him. And I've got no doubt in my mind that the chainsaw could breach the Xenomorph's shell. But Xenomorphs have acid blood. So he would get one good slash at this thing with his chainsaw, and then that chainsaw would just be useless. And I don't know if he could finish this off with one slash. He may be able to hurt it very badly, because they're not invincible. They're sturdy, but a chainsaw would probably hurt this thing pretty well. would a slash with a chainsaw pull it off? I don't know if it would. Yeah, like, xenomorphs are fantastic hunters. And the whole thing about this is we're not like just dropping them into a stadium, like a gladiator fight. They're just out and about bumping into each other. And xenomorphs are such good hunters. Like, yeah, I don't... Okay, hold on. Here, so hear me out. Leatherface doesn't have that chainsaw going 24/7. If he did, he'd be a very easy target. They would know where he is at all times. By the time he gets this chainsaw going, the xenomorph would have him, right? Am I bugging? Yeah, like even without that, like even if he did have the chainsaw going, like if he had a chainsaw running, that would just make the xenomorph even stealthier. You'd be able to hear it even less. They're sneaky and murdery, and I got it. Yeah, I got it. Like, Leatherface is cool and all. He's a tough dude. He's no Ripley, okay? Very few characters are as bad as Ripley. Whoa. Catch me gushing about Ripley sometime. I feel like we finally agreed on one, which is weird because going into this I was, like, without giving it any thought, because I like to decide things without thinking about them, you know that? I was leaning towards Leatherface just because, like, yeah, Ripley did it with mining equipment and chainsaw. And, like, while he's just a human dude, he's a scary human dude. But, like, even a deranged human is still less bloodthirsty than a xenomorph. They exist to hunt and kill things. Alright, cool. Xenomorph it is. Exciting. Well, the Xenomorph and Bruce are going to go up against each other in the next round for the semifinals. So the first semifinals is decided. The first of the semifinals is Xenomorph and Bruce. Actually, yeah, first of the semifinals is Bruce and the Xenomorph, which I honestly got to say, kind of glad it's the Xenomorph because... Did I lie about that? Xenomorph, Pyramid Head, Jason, Bruce... No, I'm right, okay. Xenomorph and Bruce, yeah, right. Just because Leatherface, if you dropped him in the water, I gotta think the chainsaw would stop working, right? So, yeah. Gotta say, I'm kind of glad it was the Xenomorph, because I'm tired of just saying, like, yeah, person stands on a pier and tries stabbing the shark. We can have a Xenomorph get in the water. They can tangle. Oh, love that. Next match. Oh, guys. Okay, hold on. Hell Priest for his first appearance because he skipped the first round. Hell Priest, there you go, buddy. Come over here. I got a monster for you to face. It's your guys' favorite. I know. 3166. So this is... Oh, God, this is wonderful. I love this so much. Hi, Ellie. You're looking at me. Why are you still yelling at me, though? Hi. I'll hold you, but if you start yelling at me again, you're grounded. No leaving the house. No driving the car.
Hey, come here.
Unhook your claw from my shirt, man. Hi. What is up with you tonight? Yeah, I don't know what her problem is. Unhook, ma'am. If you scratch... Ellie, I love you dearly. I don't know what her deal is tonight. She just keeps yelling at me, and I go to pick her up, and usually she'll just like relax, and I can hold her, and she'll start purring. No, she's just yelling at me. Oh God, now I'm a bad cat parent. Oh no. I mean, and now she's rubbing on me. Cats are weird. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. Oh Jesus. I mean, I still know what you meant though. So like, Hell Priest used to be a dude. And anatomically, I don't know if its insides are still human insides, but he did used to be a man. We're talking about like weapons, kind of, because he's got a lot of really strong demon powers. The one that comes to mind first is he can just conjure up these hooks on chains that just kind of come out of the ground and like dig into people. It's very scary. But like, I think we've established that makes 3166 stronger. So it's a bit of a weird one because like I don't know the extent of Hell Priest's business. Like, he's got demon powers. I don't think at any point in the series he goes all out. And that's the issue here. He's rarely ever defeated. He either wins or he's just sent back to where he comes from. Back in hell, though. So that's the thing, because to get to Earth, someone has to use the Lament Configurum. So if he gets sent back to hell, that would still be the end of the movie. For all intents and purposes, we're considering that a W for Nightmare Garfield. So that's what I mean, like incapacitated. Some of these dudes just can't die. Weirdly, one of those dudes that can't die is apparently the shark from Jaws. They actually blew it up and it just came back, which is weird. I mean, but like that being said, 3166 doesn't exactly have like bombs it uses. I'm not sure where you found the information. Did they mention anything about him being able to eat an infinite amount of pasta? Keep it vague because I doubt it specifies lasagna. But
You like jazz?
you like jazz? Yeah, I mean, it's alright. So, I think I'm just stalling because I got no idea where to start with this beast. Okay. That is true too. He doesn't have an infinite amount of pasta. Actually, that's a good point. That is a good point. A battle of just stamina. That's most famous signature move is his ability to mentally summon. Hey, those are those hooks I mentioned at you earlier. Those are those chain hooks I was telling you about. They're a doozy, let me tell you. But that doesn't do anything to 3166 because tearing it open helps it, and even if it did tie it up, it can teleport. But that is a good question because we don't know exactly what kills 3166. We don't know what kills Hell Priest. Like, talking about ripping it in half. I guess that's possible. If you dug hooks into something and started pulling, I sincerely doubt it would like do two clean chunks. It would more likely just like rip a hole, right? I've got to think it would. But inversely, like, joking aside, lasagna's not going to work, right? So it cannot. Which is the weird thing, because like it's weirdly durable because all of its insides are lasagna, so it doesn't need to breathe. Doesn't have bones, so you can't really hit it really hard. So like, okay, hold on, because right now we're just talking about the durability of both of them, and there's a lot of speculation. So we're gonna bring what would kill 3166. It'll be a short list. So what would kill 3166, and then would Pinhead be able to do that? And I think that's the most straightforward way we could do that. And then inversely, the same with him, if we have to, right? Right, not to the death, just incapacitation. So that's what I mean, like, yeah, but if he doesn't need bones to stand up, you could put him in a car crusher and he would just climb back out.
You like jazz?
I like jazz. As in, yeah, like, Big, good morning. We're discussing monsters. I guess it would depend on how big the explosion is, because, like you said, it's largely dependent on its outside structure. So, like, it rips itself open, but I gotta think the casing is the main thing here. If the casing was in so many pieces, it really wouldn't matter. And I'm gonna defend that stance. I gotta think that's the case, right? Powerful enough to destroy cars. That is. I feel like you're cheating because you're researching, but also we wouldn't have figured that out without you, so thank you. I'm joking. Thank you. I mean, you're just a big fan of whoever goes up against Creepy Garfield because you just want him to die. I understand that. I hate him too. Okay, so that's pretty damning. Pinhead can do the job. But at the same time, if you hit Hellpriest with a rock in the face over and over again, I have a hard time believing that wouldn't do it. Like, I don't know why I'm trying to just like get both sides of this thing. With Hellface, God, I love that so much. Hellface, yes. But I mean, the truth, that's true for both of them. I'm about to follow that up once we got to talk about Pinhead. That explosions, yes. Scary Garfield can teleport too. He's just really scary. He's just very scary. Oh God. Okay, so while we're debating this, allow me to hit you with another fun fact about 3166 that will make him even more enjoyable for you guys. So you know, the artist responsible for Garfield is Jim Davis. Apparently, the SCP Foundation took samples of the lasagna that he pulls out from his insides, and the meat that the lasagna is made out of is genetically identical to Jim Davis flesh. Which is just, that's a big question mark in my mind. Still really messed up. So, Garfield lasagna is made of people. Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, just by virtue of explosion is faster than swinging big rock. Right? I'm going to give Pinhead the benefit of the doubt and say he could be fast enough. He can teleport, he can dodge. All right. He blows up the Nightmare Cat. Cool. All right. So who does that leave? So, Hell Priest moves on to the semifinals. That's exciting. Michael Myers versus William. Hey. Give me a second to bring them up. Boop. And they're even on the right side this time. That makes me very happy. Boop. All right. Yeah. Pinhead survived. He won. Nightmare Garfield Cat. I think this is more straightforward because unlike the truck, which had obvious weak points, once again, I'm going to say, like, Michael Myers is physically, quantifiably weaker than the Creeper. And he couldn't pull the job off with wings. Michael Myers is durable, but you pull him into enough pieces, it's over. I feel like this is very straightforward. If anyone wants to argue it in favor of Michael, I'm willing to listen to any dissenting opinion, but for right now, I think this is very open and shut. Okay, if you guys haven't played Resident Evil 2, either the remake's fun. Don't get me wrong, the remake's fun. I'm a really big fan of the original for PS1. That's where William's from. If you like fun survival horror or retro PS1 era games, get into that. It's a fun one. I intentionally chose William instead of Nemesis, which is the villain from 3, because Nemesis is a little goofy. He's a big, muscular, undead dude like William, but he's also part robot, which is just silly. It is. It's my cutoff. Me personally, anything newer than PS1, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn is modern, but that's the cutoff. So PS1 is the last of the retro consoles in my mind. I say retro with all of the love in my heart. You have no idea. Like 95% of what I play is PS1 or usually older. Because let's be fair, there are people around now that are calling like PS2, PS3 retro, and it makes me sad inside. Oh, I'm old. Okay. Get out of here, Michael. Just go stalk Jody Strode or something. Kids these days. Okay, so that gives us our semifinals. So we're getting down to it. We've got 2 semifinals. Then the losers of the semifinals match up to see who gets 3rd place. And then the finals to decide 1st and 2nd. And then whoever gets 1st goes up against our champ. And that's going to be it. So, yeah, this is interesting. When I was skimming over the roster and just skimming over it really quickly, doing like some quick fights, like couple second fights in my head, like first impressions, I had assumed it would come down to Bruce versus 3166, which I think was just hilarious. Just funny, because God, that's wonderful to me. Oh, God, anyway. Right, so PS3 is the first one with one, or does 2 have one? I'm not sure. Okay, so my stance on that is if a system has a memory card, retro. And I will not budge on that. When was the last time you saw a memory card, like held one in your hand? Back in my day. Yeah, but it's not even really a cat. I just like the picture of it like wrestling a shark and trying to shove lasagna into its face. I think it did. Yeah, PS2 had memory cards also. Yeah, I remember because one time I bought a memory card thinking it was for a PS1. It was a PS2 and I couldn't use it and I was really upset. Yep. Okay, anywho. I gotta bring the pictures up if we're gonna discuss. I like getting distracted and talking about video games with you guys, but... You know, but nothing. We're having fun. Okay. So, this is another one where I think it's really straightforward because, like, we don't know how well a xenomorph would handle in water. If the fight was going in Bruce's favor just right from the start. Xenomorph fell in the water, Bruce attacked, bit right through it. Acid, right? When your main attack is biting and your opponent is a creature with acid blood, it's hard. That's hard. And yeah, Xenomorph is just covered in weapons besides that, like the tail, the claws. My only thing is maybe, considering they're underwater, would the acids not be diluted enough? Like, would the water do something to dilute the acid? Because it may hurt Bruce, but could he finish off the Xenomorph before the blood did? But yeah, I mean, because, okay, so if a Xenomorph could handle being underwater, I don't think anyone's trying to say it could swim as well as Bruce. They're not trying to say it'd be as mobile. It could just handle a fight underwater. So that being said, like, once Bruce bit down into this thing, that would be in the Xenomorph's favor because then it's just they're face to face. All the Xenomorph would have to do is slash and stab until Bruce died. Bruce biting the Xenomorph essentially just stops Bruce from being able to dodge. Or am I wrong about that? Do you guys agree? I mean, it seems like you guys are consensus. Moonstone, MX, Mountain Horse. Yeah, like, yeah, it looks like... Big, do you got a stance? I'm not sure if you're lurking or doing anything. Because you see that in, like, anime and fiction all the time. A better combatant will stab the weaker one, and the weaker one will just let it happen, so now the stronger one is, like, right there in front of them. They can't dodge. That is true. But this shark has survived a lot worse than that. It's a very, very hard to kill shark. No worries, I was just, I wasn't sure if you were actively listening because I was going to ask your opinion. But if you're not, no worries. I wanted to make sure I wasn't forgetting anybody in chat is all. No worries. Okay, yeah. It is I would not have thought the Xenomorph would have made it this far, genuinely. Underdog. Whatever the hell that thing is. It's a Xenomorph, silly. Okay. So let's see. But no, that being said, Big, if you got any monster opinions, that's what we're here for. No, don't get me wrong. I appreciate you for your support. You're a good friend, and thank you. But I just want to let you know if you want to throw out any opinions, I care about your opinions. Ooh, another good one. Yeah, like once we got down to like the semifinals, this is like actually really interesting to me now. William's back. William and Hellpriest. Which is... God, I love this so much. Oh, man. Like, so Hellpriest is smarter. Undoubtedly smarter. Just, he'd be on, like, genius level, human level. William is just, hulking anger. So, let's say Hell Priest gets the jump on him. He's able to plan. He's able to get the first hit. So hooks and claws, explosions. Right. Right, but you're... Because meat doesn't behave that way, though. If you put 2 hooks of meat into something and pulled really hard, the hooks are more likely just to tear and pull out than just to split the thing in 2. So, okay, but yeah, okay, so my train of thought, I wanted to give you my opinion on how this fight would start and see if you guys feel like that'd be a fair assessment of how this would begin. So Hell Priest is able to decide how the fight starts. He gets the jump on him. He hits him with his chains. He gives him his explosion. That being said, though, we know how durable William is. An explosion that destroys a car. I've seen William tank grenade launchers rounds. Like railguns. Like, it takes, like, military-grade weapons just to have a chance. So like that's the thing here. It's his like he's strong, don't get me wrong, it's his terrifying level of durability. Lack of mobility, that's fair. And we did mention, yeah, Hell Priest he's got that demon teleporting. Okay. We're assuming that, like, Hell Priest chains are, like, supernatural demon chains. But, like, I've got a hard time. I've seen those chains. Look at William. You cannot tell me he couldn't just, like, shrug off being hooked with a chain. I don't know. Maybe. It's really hard to quantify supernatural chains. It really is. But, like, my boy... That's a good question. That is a good question, actually. Because Pinhead has some reality warping powers. He does. But by and large, I thought it was whoever summoned him, he really just influenced them specifically. But I don't know if that's actually true. Like, I think he just needs them to enter our world, maybe. I don't want to be like, if that is the case, he wins. If that's not the case, he loses, because that's not how tournaments work. We gotta decide this. Okay, so, oh my god, yeah, this is like, I know you guys are probably, you've already decided, you know, like, you know, and I'm probably lagging behind, but it's like, benefit of the doubt, it's hard to imagine any number of just, I put a hook in William, he's dead now. Oh my god, hold on. Sage ability. Isn't that what we got before? Hold on. Skimming. Okay, gotcha. I mean, for anyone watching the video, I'm moving Hell Priest out of the way. You can see what Moonstone there was saying about essentially, yeah, his control over the chains and the number of them. So yeah, I'm you know what it is. I respect William so much, because if you see somebody take a grenade launcher to the face and just not break stride, respect. That's scary. But realistically, yeah, I don't actually think William could even get his hands on Hell Priest in the first place, which is something I didn't even touch upon yet. And like we said before, if you can't touch him, you don't... If you can't kill the person, you can't beat them. Versus Hell Priest is just chains and eventually I gotta think, well, I don't think he could, well, all he'd really have to do is subdue him, and with enough chains, eventually, yeah, that would happen. Just chains and more chains, and he's not God. Eventually he would be subdued. And if he could immobilize him, at that point it would just be killing him. Because at that point it's just like boom, boom, boom. You dead? Not? You dead yet? No. Boom, boom, boom. How about now? No. Boom, boom. Eventually he was just like, yeah. You know what it is? Okay. I think what it is Hell Priest's main thing is he likes to toy with people. He just likes to mess with them. You never get a good display of what his absolute limit of power is. And I think that's what it is. He doesn't like demonstrate his capability. He just like messes with people. So he's a lot more powerful than I think I've been giving him credit for. Yeah. That's my that on that. So Hell Priest kills William, which is just wonderful to me. He's very sadistic. Okay. So we got our finalists, Xenomorph and Hell Priest. But we have to decide our third place. So, Bruce versus William. You have a favorite now. I mean, if you're a fan of Hell Priest, I'm not going to hold that against you. He's a cool dude. He's genuinely rad. Underappreciated. Well, I say underappreciated. It's just because the Hellraiser movies got really goofy. It's like Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Freddy. Everyone loves Freddy. He's a famous monster. Those movies got silly. Bruce, there we go. So, yeah, this might be more difficult than I thought. Like, that's the thing, though. Bruce is strong. I don't know if he could physically bite through William. That's the thing. He's a big shark. A big, scary shark. He might just break his teeth first. Maybe. In the same situation, if he is able to bite through him, it would take him a good bit and a reasonable amount of chewing. At that point, Bruce isn't going anywhere. William just has him right in front of him just to... The same situation with the Xenomorph. If Bruce bites him, all that does for Bruce is... Now William has a still target. So, like, undoubtedly, I believe Bruce will get the first hit, but after that, it would just be over. Like, and if Bruce couldn't finish him off fast and, like, before William could get his hit in, then William wins, and I don't think he could. William would not drown. He's an undead. That's my stance. It's the same situation with the Xenomorph. If Bruce couldn't... If Bruce could bite him and not finish him off before William got his hit in, I believe William just needs the one, really. Because he's a big, scary shark, but in Resident Evil, there's other big, mutated, undead animals, and yeah. If you go by like amount of damage they can take within that game, William's still higher. So like, I don't think Bruce has got the chops for it. You know what I'm saying? Anywho. Alright, so William gets our third place, which is actually just, that's interesting. I'm happy about that. Because I was worried going in that, like, as strong... I personally think very highly of William. So, I was a little like... I was probably fangirling a little bit, to be fair. So the fact that he made it in the top 3, but, like, didn't win the whole thing, it's probably for the best. That's probably healthy. And it's a little disappointing, but going into the final round, it's a lot more one-sided than I probably would have hoped. And I think we all acknowledge that. But, it might not be. We're going to go over it, but I think we all know that, like, this is skewing one way more than the other. Because canonically, Ripley has killed several aliens with mining equipment, like I said. Mining equipment versus exploding a car. So we know for a fact that explosion's easily enough to kill a xenomorph. Xenomorph's a good hunter. Hellpriest is just like... The only shot would be if the xenomorph could sneak up on him somehow, and I just can't visualize that happening. Because he's, like, not omnisentient, he's just aware of things. He can dematerialize and rematerialize, so I doubt he'd leave himself vulnerable like that. Like, no matter which way you look at it, Hellpriest has the firepower, and I don't think... Yeah, right. I mean, one of our top two, one of the top seed individuals won. That's actually not surprising at all. That's why they get that by. So, he was playing with a nail gun, yes. He has the dumbest origin story. Like I said, the Hellraiser movies got silly. Oh, which is disappointing because he is really cool. But he also kills a xenomorph, so I feel like... Okay, we got a first, second, and third, but before you guys go, we're going to put Hellpriest up against our current reigning monster champion to see if he can steal that championship belt for himself. The joke is, this is the first time I've done this, so we don't really have a champion, and it's meant to be a joke. Let's have fun. Okay, so we got Hellpriest. Would you? Come here. Hellpriest versus... I keep calling him the champion, and that's not entirely true. He's really more of the king of monsters, which is more accurate. So, Hellpriest versus our champion Godzilla. Now, I may be a little biased. I'm leaning towards Godzilla, if we're being honest. I want to be impartial. Let's list their pros. Godzilla has a nuclear breath beam, and he used to do judo. Hellpriest, when you say an infinite number of chains, though, you guys know how many infinite is, right? No, you don't. That's the point. So, infinite chains, though. It's like, how many licks would it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? How many chains would it take to subdue Godzilla? Because I guess technically that's how many he has. Counter argument, he's Godzilla. A nuclear breath attack, I've got to think, as good as he is, eventually it would start being difficult for him, because he's not omnipotent. At some point there has to be an upper limit. I like how we're taking this seriously as if it's not Godzilla. God, I'm sorry, guys. I really just wanted to... I thought of the joke and I had to make the joke. So... Okay, counter argument. Godzilla has a minor healing factor, so nothing Pinhead could do to Godzilla would hurt him faster than Godzilla would heal. There's literally nothing he could do to him. So if it was a match of like, if it was a matter of Hellpriest getting away, yeah, absolutely. But if we're requiring both of them to fight and Hellpriest just can't get away, eventually Godzilla would tag him and that's all it takes. And then Pinhead teleports into Godzilla, like, straight into his brain. Okay, Pinhead, we need you to be a suppository. Alright, I don't know if he's capable of doing that. Attacking with explosions from... Like, that's the thing, though, like, explosions or not, Godzilla would barely feel it if he felt it. I'm saying no amount of damage Pinhead does could... Like, I doubt he can get Godzilla to notice he's there. And I don't know if he can teleport inside of Godzilla. That feels like a... I'm sorry, guys. I know everyone likes an underdog. Godzilla, he's the king of monsters, and he wins. But Pinhead, he got first place. So, oh man, that's exciting, you guys. We got Pinhead, Xenomorph, William, and that's actually pretty cool to me. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up. Hour, 40 minutes. Like I said, short stream, but we are just having a fun monster night. We are, give me 1 second, I'll tell you what we're doing tomorrow. Like, I think it's another horror game, but let me see. Appreciate it, guys. I really do. There's been like more people than usual here all stream. Big, thank you for the bits.
Godzilla.
Okay, I was just like, is she not going to do it? All right. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, for real. You're a good dude, good hive mate. So let's see. We gotta celebrate Godzilla's victory any way we can. Tomorrow is Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which is a famously good horror game, so hopefully I'm not disappointed. I haven't played that in forever. Day after that, I'm grouping all of our creepypasta games. People have made creepypastas based on games, like haunted games, and then people have turned around and made game versions of those creepypastas. So we're playing a bunch of those, like 8 of them, 8 to 10, somewhere in there.
3-9 ham, 3-9 ham.
3-9 ham, thank you. You're fantastic. Well,
You're wrong. Godzilla would lose and Pinhead would win, and that will forever be my opinion. But here, have some bits. Love you.
I love you too, Moonstone. You guys are fantastic, thank you. Genuinely wonderful. Oh, my heart is so full of love for you guys. If nothing else, well, I mean, thank you for the bits. I don't want to downplay that, but you guys keep me company like you do consistently. You're just all fantastic. Yeah, like I said, we got some a horror game tomorrow. We got some wacky creepypasta to do. So hopefully I see you guys around. I'm sure I'll pop on for a day stream at some point too, which is more doable for you guys, I know. But I'm sure I'll see you around. And stay hydrated, please. And 3-9 ham.